Thank you for accepting our invitation to have this conversation with us. Everybody knows, the reason. Why did we come? Why did we invite you? And let's start, the conversation. First of all, maybe it will be interesting to say a few words about the reason you came to Bulgaria. What I know is that it was a kind of like invitation you received. Mm-hmm. Like maybe you could give a few more insights about what exactly happened. What did bring you to Sofia?
Business meeting or your activity like...
No, definitely. First of all, I'm here in Bulgaria just exactly to analyze the opportunity of construction of senior cluster. What senior cluster I can show you afterwards. I mean that, but the main idea for now, just to explain that it's the quite revolutionary way of taking care of old people. Mm-hmm. So it's the specialized aged care facility which we know how to construct and how to operate. Because I'm businessman. I'm not political guy. Mm-hmm. I mean that I'm businessman with active political position. So, and it's very important to understand everything about myself, about my activity. Because I go into politics not because I want to take place of Mr. Putin, for example. Not. I really want to do something which will facilitate the doing business in Eastern Europe, in Russia. And if, for example, I am not able to do something totally legal in Russian circumstances to construct aged care residences, in this case, by political, totally legal ways, I am trying to change something. So currently my business project is developed...
You say that when something is not quite possible to be done in a legal way, in an easy way, then you try to get sufficient political support to realize your project.
No. I'm not talking about lobbying, because how you just presented it, it's pure lobbying. Mm-hmm. No, but for example, you know that in 2007-2009, I started in Russia the first chain of private retirement residences. Mm-hmm. And really fast, we shown that it's possible to serve one bed for 40,000 rubles, so approximately 1,000 euros. The same time, a month. The same time, Moscow government spends for the same service in their own institution the sum which is twice more, 80,000 rubles. Mm-hmm. So for everybody is evident. Okay, I never called it corruption because, but I told that it's extremely inefficient way of management money of city of Moscow for very important deal like for taking care of old people. And definitely, it immediately caused the problem, which you can find on internet, that they sent prosecutor office to check passports from our residents. So, and it's exactly how political regime influences in negative way for private business to improve the social care industry, the social care domain. So, and that's my main reason, because I am ready to bring to Russia, for example, investment to this social care market, to construct aged care residences. But until the corruption there on this level, until I'm not able, in spite of all the legislation, to compete for resources of social care system, it's not possible. So I am obliged to construct the residence, for example, in Riga. I do right now in France, almost resemble things. And my main idea was to bring to Bulgaria this new model of taking care of old people, just to, from my point of view, definitely, to start this social entrepreneurship venture, because what we are doing, it's social entrepreneurship. It's not pure entrepreneurship, because our main goal is not to earn money. Our main goal is to solve social care problem. Okay. So definitely we have to do it by communicating with private people, but the main idea is to correct the social care system of country in this way that everybody who needs normal level of care in private care institution receives it and being paid by municipalities.
So you want to make it affordable for every Russian citizen, so to say?
No, right now I'm not talking about Russia. It was all my deals with Russia stopped in 2009 when I got that it's not possible to do anything in Russia until this government occupies the office. So, and since that time, my project is to develop this network of aged care institutions in countries of Eastern Europe. Because you see that actually in Bulgaria, for example, you have very beautiful restaurants, you have very beautiful shops, supermarkets. Everything since the crash of Soviet bloc has been changed. Everything besides which the most vulnerable, the most tangible people, like old people who still live in aged care residences, which are not very far from those residences which were constructed during the communist time.
Okay.
So, and the main idea is that what's civil society, real civil society, is the society where people are not afraid to age. Because you know that unfortunately, according to statistics, 10% of all the people who are older than 80 years old, they need special care. So, and you are not able to, definitely it's much better to age surrounded by your grandchildren or your own house. It's very nice. But unfortunately it's not possible all the time. It's simple statistics. In France, 20% of people aged more aged than 80 years, they live in social care institutions. Here it's approximately 5-7%. But the quantity of people who are older than 80s in Bulgaria would be doubled the next 10 years.
Okay.
So right now you have approximately 5,000 beds in social care institutions, in Domy Startsov, in all this stuff. And you will need 10,000 beds.
Yeah, but we can't skip the question, what exactly, which part of your business was of some interest for the Russian government, for let's say, so that they started this legal procedure against you, and who invited you to Sofia?
We don't
the connection between these two?
No, when I started
what
about...
took you out of Russia and what bring you to Sofia?
No, but it's two totally different...
I know. These are two questions.
Just once more, I left Russia because I got that it's not possible to construct what I wanted to construct in Russia until the system, the situation in government, in governing the social care industry stays the same. Because as I told you, when I tried to participate in official tenders, in official ways to get, to serve some babushkas, I got immediate problems from different from different institutions like prosecutor office, for example. And when I was trying to work with, for example, pension fund, the biggest of railways, they proposed me immediately some corruption schemes which I was not able to accept, and it caused also some problems. So I decided, okay, no, I will leave Russia, I will sell my business there, and I will start exactly the same in Eastern Europe. And so right now we just finished the construction of the first residence in Riga the last summer for 200 beds, and it's the first French managed residence for real Latvians, for real Eastern Europeans, which was constructed since independence. 6,000 square meters, perfect build, where I can live myself. And my idea that after we succeeded in construction of this residence, to bring this model to other Eastern European countries. Yeah. And Bulgaria is very attractive. So in this case, I made the report about this initiative on MIPIM. You know, MIPIM, it's in Cannes, the most prominent real estate exposition in March 2014. And representatives of big...
Can you say the name again?
MIPIM, Méditerranée, Intermarché.
I see, okay.
Yeah. In Cannes, you have this expo of real estate once per year. And I was there, one of the leaders of panel of healthcare real estate. And so somebody from Bulgaria visited this meeting, and then they asked me to bring this model to Bulgaria. They visited our residence in Riga, and they invited me to come to Bulgaria and investigate together with them the opportunity of creating here this first cluster of aged care institutions.
So the name of the company, the name of the person is not important?
Okay, because really, unfortunately, since yesterday I'm not able to connect them, and I simply don't want to discover their names until I don't get from them official permissions. I would say that it's quite big construction.
That's quite correct, yes.
Quite big construction company which has big experience, and and this company really wanted, according to their words, to diversify their business into aged care real estate, where we are professionals. Exactly my business of my French company, or Conseil, to develop, to manage this type of institutions dedicated for care of old people.
Yeah. A few more words about your business in Russia before you left Russia. Forbes, I read, the articles on Forbes, Russian version of Forbes, and they were treating the whole settlement against you as a setup, as a raider.
As
Do
I
you
told
agree with
you,
this?
Yeah. As I told you, it was exactly my experience of trying to work together with the state monopoly with Russian railways. It was 2008, it was crisis. Nobody besides them wanted to invest money into this project, HK institutions, and they agreed. But when we started to work, it was quite Russian way of thinking. They say, okay, we give you this money, but you double the budget, and part of this budget you should bring back.
Percentage, yeah.
Yeah, and that's all.
It works the same way in Bulgaria, by the way.
Okay, and I refused, and when I refused, they started to press
Prosecution.
me. No, prosecution. They started first of all to threaten me that Nikolai, you are not so white, and then Stanko import case has come, and I researched in frame of this Stanko import case. That's very simple.
This case, especially if you can say what is your version of Stanko import case, because Kommersant and other Russian media was writing that you are involved.
Once more, definitely I worked with Stanko France, it's for sure. But right now I don't want to share the details because unfortunately right now we are still in the middle of criminal case, and everything which I say right now can be used against me. So I really want to read this Russian version, watch what they send quite soon to Sofia, and then I am able to comment it. Because I would say only that from my point of view, from point of view of a very well-known audit cabinet in France, everything was legal. It was pure business, not anything illegal according to French legislation, where I was working at that time. So from my point of view, everything is fine. And this case is simply used to, first of all, to manipulate me after I did not agree to share this budget. Right now, but I think it's something different, unfortunately, to press me after this another step of political career. Because that time it was politics only on the Moscow level. Right now, unfortunately, it's...
Yet the accusation or whatever it is, it has some part which could be said in public. So what are they after you in Russia? What's exactly the reason for all these legal steps against you there? Could you say
but once more,
that
in
part
Russia,
which you
when
could
I was in
explain
Russia,
publicly?
when I was in Russia, and until I was arrested 3 days ago, I never knew that I'm accused. So I was threatened a lot of time. Nikolai, tomorrow you would be accused by different people. That Nikolai, if you don't stop to do this, tomorrow you will be accused. Tomorrow you will be accused. But I have never received any official. I have never signed. Even I live in France. Everybody knows where I live. I received a new Russian passport. So nobody. I mean that it was a lot of threatening. It was a lot of menace in French, but. Nobody told me that I'm accused in anybody. Yeah, I was with her, but not more.
Then last, for me at least, interesting point is, I read a few versions of what exactly happened for the last 3 days. The one version which I accept to sound very realistic is that this Moscow Interpol Bureau received this arrest order, and it sent it to Bulgaria, but it was kept secret unless you get to the plane. At the moment you got to the plane, it was like officially announced, etc., without contacting all the Bulgarian partner services, like European services, etc. Do you know more about this? What exactly happened?
You see that unfortunately I would say that what you are saying is confirmed by the first words of this Straže Granice, who told me that they just received it.
Border police.
Yeah, border police. But it was one guy, I don't know his name, he was somebody who told me that, you see, we just received it. If you come yesterday, you would pass simply. So it's the only thing which I can comment now. And definitely that nobody knew, but once more, he told me maybe he was not correct, maybe, as I got for them, it's not...
official information.
Yeah, not official information. Another story which I can definitely tell that I've been to French police for getting one of my ID cards in June, and definitely if they had the time, anything, police, they checked me by their computer, they would never give it. So in June, I definitely was not in that database. So definitely everything looks quite suspicious. But once more, I don't have any information besides which I've just shared with you.
What is your version, especially why, especially in Sofia, you are arrested?
Oh, but once more, the idea is very, very simple. That since I left Russia because I was not able to do business there, my political position, even I was politically active since 2001 when I moved to France. You know that I bought that Russian bookstore, which has become the center of Russian opposition in 2003-2003. That time opposition was quite puppet. The only thing which we've done, for example, we allowed to Chechens to gather there to sell their books, which was totally prohibited in Russia. But when I moved once more in 2010, and when I participated in creation of the Russie Liberté, which was mainly caused by that
Free Russia,
association Freedom of Russie Liberté, Russia Liberties. So, which we started during all these manifestations against the election fraud in Russia. That time, definitely, secret services of Russia, they didn't put enough attention for all the opposition which existed abroad, because there was quite serious question with opposition in Russia itself. For today, we can say that Russian secret services, they solved totally the problem of internal Russian opposition. So the main leaders, Mr. Khodorkovsky, is already expelled after quite long sentence. Mr. Navalny is under home arrest, and he is accused also according to economic...
Like 4, 5, 6 accusations.
None of them is political. All of them are economical. So it's according to Mr. Putin, there are no political prisoners in Russia. All our political prisoners has economical accusation.
And he says that they are like criminals.
Yeah,
regular
for
criminals.
sure, for sure. So right now, what in general happens that if you compare, for example, everything which was happening, which I read only in court, that okay, in 2012 it was case against me, that in 2013 it was the decision of Basmanny court for my extradition. It was exactly the consequences of my political activity in France. And definitely they never sent it to France to extradite me because they were sure that France will never do it because it's total bullshit. And France, Russia consider as powerful country. So they were waiting until, and they were definitely following me. I don't know how, maybe definitely by phone, maybe by, for example, actually after only my mobile, I found SMS that somebody was trying to go into my Google account when I was in prison. So, but it's additional verification Google account, and so it was SMS that here is your
from some IP or I know this two steps verification.
Yeah, look, Google verification code. Yeah. Somebody yesterday was trying to tap Google verification code, was trying to access my account. No, but they actually created my accounts in Odnoklassniki. They tried to talk to my friends.
Odnoklassniki, that's Russian
Facebook
network. Yeah,
Russian Facebook.
Social network.
But once more, somebody, okay, they, I would say somebody. But the main idea is that definitely after all this stuff, they decided to threaten some businessmen because you see that what's Russie Liberté? It's an association of mainly young people who are students or just of early 30s, and I am already 41. And they started, but they need the support of businessmen. They need these small finances to organize these events, and definitely they want to threaten the people who are ready to support opposition, like me. And definitely to do it, it's not possible to do in France, which they consider quite a powerful country. Unfortunately, that's why I think, once more, it's my personal opinion, that they think that in Bulgaria it would be much easier because a lot of people in Russia still consider Bulgaria as satellite, which should follow orders from Moscow, and that's exactly what happened. Because
why not Latvia, for example?
Latvia is much more anti-Russian than Bulgaria. Much more. And very practical reason. When you come to Latvia, nobody checks your ID. It's Schengen zone.
Yeah.
So it could be either Bulgaria or, okay, I visited Britain only last week. So I think that Britain is not considered as easy target also. So
especially after Litvinenko case.
Yeah. So that's why Bulgaria was chosen. I think as simple, which seemed to them quite easy. And maybe, as you told, everything was already prearranged.
Yep.
Because these guys on...
border.
I think that it seems to me that they even have already on that, in front of these guys, the sheet where it was printed already made. They're simply waiting for me. Mm-hmm. But once more, maybe it only seemed to me. But that's for sure that this guy told that this search for you has come only today. So I think that it's exactly was not only the way of capturing me, but it was also the way to showing. In French there is expression, faire la loi. So it signifies to make the law. Who makes the law here in Bulgaria?
We say who drives the train.
Okay, who drives the train? Who drives the train here in Bulgaria? Either it's Bulgaria, either it's European Union, or either it's Russia,
okay,
who still can make Bulgarians to do what Russia wants.
Okay, what about your political opposition work through this association you have there? What are the specifics you do? How do you help the young students there in France? You said something about it. And what do you think could be the reason that the Russian government, Mr. Putin, Kremlin are so mad at you?
You see that once more.
Secret services too.
KGB, whatever.
No, it's for sure. You see that actually Russie Liberté...
What do you do? That's the question, sorry.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, two main items of Russie Liberté. First of all, is to promote democracy in Russia, and second of all, to supply French society with independent view for Russian politics. And definitely we do it. So any reason, for example, we manifestate all the time to free Navalny, to free Khodorkovsky, to free political prisoners, to we made annual concerts of Russian opposition where we invite some prominent Russian singers, which collects everybody, and we have some huge press. But in this year, for example, we just prepared the report about corruption in Russia, which was presented in Assemblée Nationale, so in Parliament of France, only in this spring. So it was presented, for example, here is French Assembly, here is myself, and we are presenting this, you can download this rapport de corruption where I am one of the authors, rapport de corruption en Russie.
That's a report on corruption in Russia.
Yeah, the report on corruption in Russia, which should be used by French companies on choosing their ways and persons with whom to work or with whom not to work in Russia. So it's something which really can harm some close to Putin people, even in their way of being included or not to be included into these sanction lists, even if not official. But it was a serious job. We analyzed corruption in Russia because in Russie Liberté there are a lot of specialists, and we presented it. Also, you see that I was one of very few Russians who participated in that meeting in front of Palais Élysée when Mr. Putin was there in beginning of June. And it was very important because we shown our solidarity with Ukrainians. So Ukrainians, for example, look here, it's Ukrainian flags, and very, very few Russians actually, we were, not maybe brave enough, maybe stupid enough to participate, and there were more secret service agents there than manifestants. It was very, very funny. A lot of people in black glasses around us, and all this time when I was doing this political activity, I got some threatening. In 2003 it was quite stupid that I got some simple calls, and they say, okay, I'm colonel from Russian residency in Paris, can you visit our office to explain what you are doing? They say, guys, go away. It was totally funny way. They were total Soviet created secret services. They simply did not get. If we call to somebody Russian, why he is not coming like this the next day. But the last 3 years the situation is totally different. What's happening right now in France, you know that I'm a graduate of Moscow State University, and I have a lot of friends who work everywhere, in government, in administration of president in Russian embassy, and it was very friendly talks when they write me and say, Nikolai, what you are doing will not bring you anything good. You know, you are a businessman. It's very easy to find something.
Actually, speaking about business, I recall that you had some kind of difficulties running your bookstore in France, in Paris.
Yeah, we have it still.
Then, at least this is what media say. So, if there is something wrong or something which should be said in addition, please do it. A Russian guy, he donated, actually, not sponsored. He donated some 200,000 euros.
It's not donated.
So, and now he's in a restriction list or something. Maybe you could say a few words about it.
Yeah, here is one guy, Kovalchuk, one of the close friends of Putin, who really has come to... Because bookstore, unfortunately, you know that it's very famous... Even Gagarin has signed postcards there, Liberty du Globe. And then when I bought it in 2001, we totally converted it into the Tribune de Vraie Russie or something. So to show
Russian
real Russian, so real Russian Tribune. So we actually presented, everybody could present their views in Liberty du Globe. I mean, we had, for example, Mr. Rogozin, who was that time ambassador of Russia in NATO. And parallelly we had Mr. Roizman, who was one of those Russians who participated in that demonstration on Red Square on '68 when Soviet Union has invaded Czechoslovakia. So it was a real, and it's now a real Tribune. But unfortunately, bookstores right now are not profitable. So it's totally negative, unfortunately. And when we got that proposal from one of these real Russian oligarchs, we were definitely afraid. And we discussed with Russie Liberté also, and we put quite serious limits for influence on the current activity.
So you had some strong requirements.
Yeah, and you see that it wasn't a donation. Actually, he acquired the percentage in shareholders' capital, and he has made the loan as shareholder. So with all the restrictions, unfortunately, we started to feel the pressure immediately afterwards.
Political pressure.
Just what you should say, in what interview you should...
Censorship.
A kind of.
Okay.
A kind of. And we can investigate...
Soft censorship.
Yeah. Okay. But maybe not because of his... Maybe these guys, they simply cannot behave otherwise. You see that maybe it was not something which was... especially corrected. Simply if I am boss close to Putin, I simply don't accept other way of talking to me. So maybe
do you relate this case to the whole court case against you in Russia?
You see that right now there are at least I think that there are a lot of different for example, you know, that these are three main friends of Putin: Mr. Yakunin, Mr. Chemezov, Mr. Kovalchuk. And when I was struggling in Russia with this fund of Russian railways, definitely it was a problem for Mr. Yakunin, because he is accused by Navalny a lot in corruption, and everything which I told was support of the position that Yakunin and his organization is corrupted. When this Stanko import case brought some problems to me, you know that Stanko import is part of Rostechnology, and Rostechnology is directed by Mr. Chemezov. It's another guy very close to Mr. Putin. Both these guys are right now in sanction lists. So one guy is put in sanction list because also of all the activity I participate, and another guy definitely authorizes this claim against me, who is also in this list and who is friend with... Okay, it's a sort of construction. We never know the truth. And me personally, I am really... that they discussed personally, okay, Nikolai Kobliakov, blah, blah, blah. But everybody knows from their teams how to manage. That if somebody brings some problems, how to deal with it. And maybe Kovalchuk, who is the third friend, but for now, I would think on him on the last term. Because anyway, this guy, for now, even in spite of the way of his behavior, he mainly aided. But maybe after he was included into list, something has been changed. Because maybe when he donated, as you told, to this shop, it was one of his thoughts that he would avoid this list, because there is another guy, Russian oligarch Timchenko, who avoided this list exactly because he donated to Russian collection of some masterpieces in France. So it's a way to do something.
He was not included in the list.
Moreover, he was honored by Honor Legion order. So no, but all these, it's only my thoughts. So I'm not able to prove it. Definitely, that the fact that Stanko Import is part of Rostechnology, Chemezov manages Rostechnology, and Chemezov, one of the closest persons to Putin, and Chemezov is included to this list, and not and right after it, all this claim once more was put to Interpol, gives some ideas for sure.
To make it clear enough, you accepted this financial injection, so to say, because you had strong enough and clear enough rules under which you accepted this.
Yeah, they are not able to manage. They are not able to, according to shareholders' agreement, they are not able to rule policy of Librido Globe. For now, Librido Globe is independent, is open for everybody, and it continues to be the center of Russian community in Paris, including Russian opposition elements. Definitely, it still has some problems, and definitely we still have some demands from Mr. Kovalchuk to increase his influence, but for now, but I'm not very actively involved in this. Even that was me who actually started this shop when it was bankrupted after Soviet Union stopped to support him.
Okay. You mentioned a few times Russian opposition, Mr. Navalny. If I'm not wrong, you were somehow involved in a Pussy Riot protection case, the whole campaign, in their protection.
Oh, yeah,
Is it so? And does it have some relation? Could you also have, focused Putin's attention on you because of you being involved in this?
You see that, once more, the main idea that I'm not active militant of Russie Liberté. Definitely, it was not the support of Pussy Riot. It was one of the actions of Russie Liberté, and it was something which I voted for on our council, that we should put some energy, some money from my side for organizing of these concerts, for sure. But you see that I'm one who organizes and support this campaign, and I participate sometimes. It was one of the series of activities of Russie Liberté, as we supported Mr. Navalny, as we protested against other prisonniers politiques, so political prisons. So I personally am not acquainted with Pussy Riot. I personally know quite well Mr. Navalny, for example, but Pussy Riot, never seen them. Okay.
What's his condition right now? What's the level of opposition in Russia?
No, as I told you, I think that opposition in Russia is totally destroyed.
Destroyed?
Yeah, but you say that...
You say that it's destroyed from legal point, pressure from the government, but
not from
support
legal
people...
No, I would say that right now, unfortunately, 85... I totally agree with the results of polls that 85% of Russians, they support Putin in... his démarche, in his activity to take Crimea, for example, against Ukraine.
After Ukrainian crisis, there is increasing of...
Yeah, and I totally agree. For me, it's quite private case also, because my wife, she is Ukrainian, she's from Dnipropetrovsk region, and I have some relatives simply there, and who are extremely pro-European, and they simply had problems because of all this Russian hidden invasion. That's why I participated also in that revolt, in this manifestation for Ukrainians. But as you read that my relatives, they are quite worried that one of my grandfathers, he battled on Shipka according to family legend. So it was my connection to Bulgaria, and I always wanted to visit Shipka and to find his name there, but by internet I wasn't able to do it. His name is Petrakov, and maybe. So as I told you, right now I'm so my grandfather
was fighting on Shipka.
Fighting for independence of Bulgaria almost 150 years ago, and now I'm fighting for independence of Bulgaria by putting myself in front of Russian judgment.
Okay, what about the Russian politics? You say international politics. You mentioned Crimea. You said it's hidden invasion. Maybe you could say a few more words.
No, but Crimea is not hidden invasion, it's simple invasion. Hidden invasion is Eastern Europe.
Okay, but those who object this opinion,
Eastern
they
Ukraine,
say they will say you just repeat, you know,
Eastern Europe also. So Eastern Ukraine is Eastern Europe.
There is
So-
economic invasion.
No, but it's hidden invasion. They are really Russian. Who is these guys who manages this Donetsk Republic? I'm sure that they're Russian officers, maybe ex-Russian officers. Me personally, I'm sure that Putin was essential for Russia in 2002, 2003, when it was necessary to stop the conflict in Chechnya, all this stuff. But right now, what the result of Mr. Putin activity is exactly the fact that we are in front of very serious opportunity of very big war in Europe. And that's exactly which we should not forgive him, because that's 2,000 people who are killed already in eastern Ukraine. And for Russians to kill or to be involved in killing of the most closest brothers, because, okay, see, the Bulgarians, you are our brothers, definitely, but Ukrainians are almost members of family, because you see that 20 million Russians have direct family relations with Ukrainians. Imagine 20 million have either brother, sister, father, daughter or grandfather in Ukraine. And it's because of Mr. Putin that Russians and Ukrainians started to shoot each other. It cannot be forgiven. It's
because of him.
Yeah,
Explain
because-
this, please. What does it mean because of Mr. Putin they
Because-
started shooting?
because he positioned himself like somebody who will be correct in any case. So he allowed to take all the power for himself, claiming that because of his generosity, because of his extra provision, everything which he will do will be better for Mother Russia. You know, the problem is that in this case, it's the problem of dictatorship. We know, all the world knows, a lot of very positive examples of economical influence of dictatorship to development of countries. You know, Chile, you know, Singapore, for example.
Germany, in some sense.
Germany before. But the problem afterwards is that the probability of quite negative consequences is quite high. Germany is perfect example. That if Hitler steps away in 1938, he would stay as a very prominent guy maybe. Before he started all these invasions, before he started all this... it's very pity to say it, but that's true. But maybe I did not know. If he had everything in his head from the beginning, it cannot be forgiven. But sometimes dictatorship is necessary. But right now...
We're saying Bulgaria's strong hand.
Yeah, but it's,
The rule of the strong hand.
yeah, definitely. But
Okay, then a little more to this topic. Dictatorship, people generally related to an empire. Will I be correct if I suspect a kind of like empire ambition in Putin to re-establish,
for
to
sure, for
recreate?
sure. You
What's
see
your
that-
perspective on that?
yeah, for sure. But I don't know personally Mr. Putin. First of all, I've seen him once.
Yeah, we judge by politics he leads.
Definitely he is dictator. Definitely
Tyrant.
Tyrant.
Tyrant. Okay, we can call him tyrant. Tyrant of 21st century. So not tyrant of 19th century, where it's totally... you know that the situation that in Russia, in the beginning of 20th century, it was monarchy. It was absolute monarchy. Definitely. It was not any Duma at that time. And it was the visit of Shah of Iran to Russia. And they had a trip with Nikolai II along the streets of St. Petersburg. And one of the policemen, he did not very fast turned just to welcome them. And
To show respect.
To show respect. And this Shah of Iran, he told, kill him, to Nikolai II. It was 1903, something like this. And Nikolai told,
Why?
I can't. He told, I can't do it. He said, this Iran Shah, you are not able to execute your officer who did not show enough respect for you? He said, not. But I've heard that you are Tsar, that you can do everything. I am Tsar, I can kill everybody. So the fact that in Iran, for example, at the time, in Persia, even the understanding of dictatorship was different already from Russian one, even at that time it was like this. So definitely right now Putin is tyrant, but in modern sense of this word. So I'm sure that if he wants just to kill policeman, maybe he can do it, but not very in open way. But unfortunately, what he does right now can bring either some economical benefits to Russia, but with quite same probability can bring serial disaster not only for Russia but to all the Europe. And in this case, unfortunately, if sometimes you are simply not allowed to take the risk or to take somebody the risk which can bring real disaster for your children. And that's exactly what Russians don't understand. When they see how Putin is prominent, how he tries to do some good stuff for Russia, they think that, okay, if he succeeds, everything will be nice. But they don't think that the probability of losing can bring real disaster. And that's exactly why democracy exists. Just to put away the people who can bring not only positive but extremely negative consequences, to bring them away from power. And that's what we see now, because what we see in Ukraine, it's exactly consequences of the fact that Putin was considered by all the world as the most powerful person, according to Times version, that he's genius, that he can stop the war in Syria, that he's political warrior, blah, blah, blah. And right now we see that what's happening because of this policy of international trust to Mr. Putin.
Yet my question was, is it correct to claim that he's trying, this policy is a kind of like policy to re-establish Russian Empire?
Yeah, for sure.
What are the tools he uses for that?
But you see, he uses everything. He uses, for example, the extradition of Nikolai Kobliakov. Also, it's totally normal. Just
on more general level?
In more general level, there's everything which was used by Soviet Union, from direct invasions, as to Crimea, to soft power, like everywhere in all other parts of the world. Establishment of Russian community, creating of some associations in different countries just to consolidate Russian world based on some traditional values around Russian values, but everybody sees, and is the message of propaganda, that Russian values, it's Putin. That's the only person. You see that when I've been to prison yesterday, and when I discussed with these guards, and they told me, Nikolai, why are you against Putin? Putin is the only guy who can save us, Bulgaria, from the United States. All our problems which we have is because there is no more Soviet Union, and all these guys in uniform, they are sure in it. And it's exactly the result of Putin propaganda, that what Europe has brought to us. Nothing. And Putin is somebody who can stop European expansion, who can stop American expansion. So it's exactly how Putin acts, by showing through TV channels, by acting like the savior of Slavic world. You can feel it. Yeah,
that's a good point. Slavic, pan-Slavic, idea, pan-Orthodox idea. In Europe, we also have Slavic countries, European Union, I mean. We also have Orthodox countries in European Union.
Yeah.
Maybe you could speak a little bit on this perspective, on pan-Slavic idea and pan-Orthodox idea from the perspective of Russian culture, like you deal with books especially.
Is this ideas connecting link just to Putin idea for
Putin is
Russians, Ukrainians, Bulgarians, and other Serbians?
First of all, any pan-Slavic things can be considered as nationalistic, because Russia has a lot of Muslims, and Putin has never been suspected as nationalist. That's for sure. Even Navalny can be suspected as real nationalistic guy, but never Putin. Putin has also highlighted the fact that Russian Empire gives equal rights to people, never mind of what religion, never mind of what blood, never mind of what nationality.
But there is a comma, unless they follow the laws and the rules. And
yeah, for sure. But that I want to say that I don't think that pan-Slavic idea is something which is in the top list of Mr. Putin. When he talks about unification of ex-satellites of Soviet Union, when he talks about that crash of Soviet Union was the main catastrophe of the 20th century, he's speaking more about the traditional values, that we accept family as the main institute, that we don't accept all this gay and lesbian activity. And there are a lot of people who supports him in this area, that he is a brave guy. So in this case, definitely Slavic idea exists. There is a very, very huge party of pan-Slavianism around him. But me personally, I don't think that it's something which he bases on his politics. No. Even a lot of Russians really, really love, because in very, very few countries Russians are welcomed in Bulgaria, because of very, very common, in spite of the fact that during the last two wars, Bulgaria was a totally different part. In 1914 and in 1940-44, you've been with the Germans, not with Russians.
Well, that's quite...
no, I would say in spite of it...
one-sided presentation,
no,
because again, Bulgaria...
Officially, we're allies. I know that Bulgaria was the only country who never sent troops, like Romania, they sent their troops to Soviet Union. Bulgaria, no, Bulgaria never extracted...
My point was, just before the Russian army invaded Bulgaria in 1944, Bulgaria actually declared independence and started negotiating with the allies, with Russia, America and Great Britain.
And Bulgaria was the only country of...
It was actually in a state of neutrality, sorry, not independence, neutrality.
At the end of the war, yes. But in the beginning of the war, it was ally of Germany. But I would say that Bulgaria was the only country of all the Eastern Bloc where there were not any Russian military base. So Bulgaria was on the top level on confidence of Soviet. So in all other countries, in Hungary, in Poland, some Russian military bases were put in Czechoslovakia afterwards, especially, but not in Bulgaria. So I would say that the friendship, the trust to Bulgarians from Russian establishment is extremely high. Is much higher than for any other country. And in this case, we are both Orthodox, we are both Slavs, and it's something which really inspires all kinds of Russians to be closer to Bulgaria, but some Russians to try to manage Bulgarian society.
Actually, that was my next question. You said a few words about Russians being very welcomed in Bulgaria. What's your perspective on, like, for example, in Bulgaria these days, government, the whole political elite was more Russian inclined, so to say, kindly. So they put forward the argument that those who are against Putin's international policy are Russophobic, and those who support him, they are Russophiles. They like Russia, they love Russia, etc. So what's your interpretation on Russophobic and Russophilic ideas or whatever?
You should never mix Russophobic and Putinophobic. Russophilic and Putinophilic. Because Putin, even he is supported by 85% of Russians today, it's not Russia. You remember that, for example, even in the States, after their victory in the War of the Gulf, Mr. Bush was supported by 85% of Americans. But only in 1 year, he lost his next elections. After Americans started. Unfortunately, I am not sure that exactly the same. Russians are the nation which very fast feel in love with somebody. But if somebody does not confirm their expectations, they can quite easily forget about their love. And it's exactly that. I think it's also the way of propaganda, that to say that if you don't like Putin, you don't like Russians.
Exactly, that's the case here.
But it's the way, the consequences of very precise propaganda, for sure. That Putin is Russia, Russia is Putin. It's very simple that, remember, Lenin is Soviet Union is Lenin. No, it's not true. No, it wasn't like this. It was Lenin is Communist Party is Lenin. Point. Russia is Putin, Putin is Russia. No, it's not like this. Russians, I mean that I was born also in Russia.
The Ukrainian crisis in Donbass and these sanctions, is that the finishing of Putin's era, do you think?
No, I don't think. I think that Putin will manage this crisis. I think that it's something which should show us Europeans that it's not possible to continue to allow to this guy to do what he wants to do, because it can bring much serious problems. Remember, like Yugoslavia, all this stuff. No, but in Russia, he will continue to manage it. I think the next several years, at least, the next terms, because Russians support him. Russians, unfortunately, they prefer sometimes starvation, but not starvation, but decrease in level of life, but with satisfying of their ambitions in terms of increasing of country. And okay, it's one of the national characters of Russians. That's why Russia is quite a big country with quite low level of development compared to Swiss or to Finland, for example. But okay, we should not analyze it whether it's good or bad, but it's like this. So Putin simply uses this Russian mentality.
I still think about this support. You say 85% of people, according to the polls, are supportive of Putin. If life is not good there, if the economical level is not established, if mafia and crime is all around, what's the real reason? I can't believe that the real reason is that just talks. There are too many guys in Europe, gays, not guys, too many gays in Europe. It's not. It doesn't sound serious for me.
But you see that there is one African country. I've forgotten the name. Not Uganda, but where one guy rules this country for the last 30 years, and all the time the level of life is decreasing, and he claims that it's because of sanctions which are put on this country by foreigners, and his level of support is very, very high. Mm-hmm. When you control all the propaganda channels, you very easy can put responsibility for any decrease of level of life for foreigners.
So his position is, I'm the good guy who tries to really, help you, help the nation, help the mother Russia.
Yeah.
And these Western bad guys, they, by sanctions, by this,
yeah,
by that,
exactly. And Russians prefer to trust it. It's totally normal.
Then we come to the point of media freedom in Russia.
But it's no media freedom in Russia. It's for sure. I mean that even right now, 5 years ago, all the TV channels was captured by people close to Putin's circle, and the last 2 years it was
same
Kobliakov first channel, exactly, yeah.
Gazprom
media, and but right now all the internet media is also captured. So very few internet media, Lenta.ru, Mail.ru, Vkontakte, all this media were captured already by somebody who is close to Putin.
I used to listen to radio Moscow Echo,
which is totally subsidized by Gazprom.
So they
you have to have some safety valve, for sure, always.
So then, what's the way to get like real information about what goes on there? How are things, politically, economically?
Talk to Russie Liberté.
Okay, that's a good one. What else?
Maybe there are Russian oppositioners or businessmen like you that could change the situation to make one media for people that want to know the truth about Russia, for example.
You see that
for Russians in Europe, for people in Europe that want to know what is the situation there.
Okay, I would say you like this. We are thinking about it in Russie Liberté all the time.
Yeah.
For it we need investment. We just started to discuss with one guy. I am sure that after he sees what happened to me, who supported Russie Liberté, he will refuse. It's very, very simple to manage this businessman support. It's enough just to put one guy into prison in Bulgaria, that all the others would say, no, I prefer to live calmly in Paris instead of creating something.
Actually, that's a very good point. Bulgaria is part of the European Union. It came from Russian politics, high level. I can't recall exactly in the moment. Was it the Russian ambassador or some Russian politician in Russia that Bulgaria is a Troja horse of Russia in European Union?
Mr. Rogozin, I think.
Rogozin, exactly. Rogozin, that was him. So my question is, how could you explain the fact that you were arrested in Bulgaria as an opposition, as a person who contributes to opposition in Russia on European Union level? you said that just arresting a person is enough for the Russian businessman to say, okay, that's enough, that's the border, I don't cross it. Could you say that your arrest may be aimed at this also to
No, it's for sure. Yeah, it's exactly. I mean that even, and I hope that they will never succeed to extradite me to Russia. I think that the main aim they reached already. They've shown that you should not. If you're a businessman, stay businessman.
We'll find you even in Europe.
Yeah, as I told you, all this operation was planned by FSB exactly against Russian opposition based in Europe already. So there are some Russians, businessmen, who are ready to support Russie Liberté, who were ready to support Russie Liberté, who were ready to support this international newspaper, which we were thinking all the time of starting to. But you see that to start to publish this newspaper, even internet version, you really need some stuff, you really need some money. And that's exactly. And the main idea is, you see that to win the war, you should not win your enemy. You should win his desire to struggle against you, to fight against you. So you win the war when nobody wants to fight against you. So definitely to show that, okay, you would never feel yourself safe in case you support Paris-based opposition organizations. I think that this item is achieved already.
Still, it sounds very threatening, if there is a penetration into the security of European Union, etc., by such a simple act that a guy was arrested in Sofia under uncertain, legal procedure and legal rules, etc., being followed. It sounds very threatening. I mean, that means that Bulgaria was being used as a direct tool to penetrate European Union security standards and political.
Yeah, and I would say that I'm sure that the dossier which will come would be perfectly made. It would be a lot of prominent people will witness that yes, Nikolai Kobliakov has stolen money. Like a lot of prominent people have signed a petition that Crimea is totally Russian, for example. It would be, I don't know, some email exchange on Mail.ru, for example, which is controlled totally by state, where I ask directly, give me 2 million euros, blah, 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 something like this. So the dossier would be perfectly made. And it's exactly, everybody knows that Russia can make everything like to Old Spice to prepare perfect documents and to send it. And the main idea is either Bulgaria finds the internal power to reject it based on the fact that everybody gets that it's because of political component of this stuff. Or Bulgaria will try to put this stuff and say, okay, I am real horse, Trojan horse, and I follow these legal rules based on the fact that Russia use Interpol. Even Russia puts in Interpol Prime Minister of Ukraine, for instance, also showing very, very evident proofs of his capability.
Let's make it clear. The whole case against you starting in Russia back to 2008, 2009, 7?
No, once more. This case has been started in 2012.
12.
What we read yesterday.
The reason for your arrest started in 2012.
Yeah.
So for 2 years, for 2012 to 2014, you weren't in any way legally contacted in France where you live, where is your address registration and everything. They waited for you to come back to Sofia, where they get you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's the case.
That's the case. They claim that they were not able to contact me because they were not able to find me. Even if I taken my new passport, even
and you got it from the police office in Paris.
In Russian embassy.
In Russian embassy.
No, but never mind. It's you see that.
And you hadn't talks with representatives of secret services of Russia in Russian embassy in Paris.
Once more, I had talks, but not about any criminal cases. I had talks about, as I told you, with my friends, who I think are secret officers, who in a very friendly way told me that Nikolai, personal conversations, Nikolai, what you are doing will not be.
It's not good.
It's not good for you.
But not official.
Never. The fact that I'm accused, I never knew. I mean that I was never informed, simply because, as I told you, the only way is to do it in Bulgaria or in another Trojan horse in European Union.
My last question: how are you treated in Sofia? Arrest?
I would say that
street?
very nice. And all these guards, even they are real fans of Putin, they never allowed for themselves to make anything against me. So I don't know if it was only for me, but we were fed with watermelon in prison, and I would say that the quantity of cockroaches in chamber was lower than in my dormitory when I was a student. No, there are some problems that, for instance, I have some asthma problems, and there is no any ventilation in chamber, that there is no working...
Did they allow you to use this?
Yeah, they allowed me to use it. They don't have working lift to move me to elevator to move me to this court, and I was obliged to work. But everybody was waiting very politely when I was with my stick climbing along this.
And what's your legal status now? Are you allowed to leave the country?
No.
Maybe not. You have to sign, you know.
No, I'm actually I'm not allowed to leave the country.
Okay.
So until
the case is closed.
Until the case is closed. I guess the decision is.
You saw that this case is the test of independence.
Yeah.
For independence for Bulgaria. What do you think? This judgment, how was okay or not, like this test?
I think that right now Bulgarian legal system, including court, was totally in lines with the European and local legislation. So I was arrested according red bullet of Interpol. I was kept 24 hours in front of passport control of Bulgaria. Also very kindly people were there. Then I was moved by decision of prosecutor until the decision of court, and decision of court allowed me to leave the prison to prepare for the next sentence. I mean that not for sentence, but for the next court. I mean that right now Bulgaria shows that it's normal European country up to now. So what's happening?
As per legal procedures.
As per legal
judge procedures, not as per the police sections.
The fact that no, but what could do Bulgaria if they received this red ballot? They were obliged to keep me. So and afterwards, right now, you will try to understand what's really happening.
That's your explanation. This red label or whatever it is, arrest order, it came from Russian Interpol Bureau to Bulgarian, and they had no choice except to arrest you.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the court showed that this kind of system doesn't work in European countries. That's your... Sure, I mean the court...
No, because you see that there are two conventions. First of all, there is convention about extradition.
Okay.
And this convention really structures the way how the people who are put on Interpol list should be treated. So that they should be arrested, they should be put into prison and until the court about extradition takes place. And then during that court, we also should take, and court should also take into consideration this declaration of freedoms of and rights of civilians of United Nations of 1948, where they should consider if this case is motivated politically or not. So during the next court, they should take into account all the stuff of political forcible usage of this case, because imagine that, okay, I am a real criminal and I really stole $100 million in Russia. But unfortunately, it's evident for now that if I am in Russia, I would be treated not like simple criminal, but that the guy who is against Putin. And definitely, I personally think that Russian guards in prisons, they wouldn't be so polite like Bulgarians who support Putin but who never beaten me and who allowed me. No, in Russia, my life in prison would be really, really short in this case. You see that it's a lot of people in Russia who commit suicide, and even in this Stanko import case, it was one guy who committed suicide, and he has left this note that he was put to the conditions where he committed the suicide because of the pressure of this guy who signed actually this ballot for myself. So exactly the same guy has already killed one guy for the same criminal dossier. In this case, it's another convention should be taken into account by court just to separate totally the possible criminal situation from political. And if I'm really criminal and this crime is committed in France by French citizen, okay, I am ready to be not sentenced, but to go to court in France and to explain everything. And if I am responsible for anything, okay, everything which I have done, as I told you, was several times corrected by auditors. But it was my responsibility anyway of my company. So if I've done something which I am ready to be responsible for it, but according to European legislation, where we can, unfortunately right now, nobody can guarantee us that in Russia there is unbiased judgment, and everybody knows it. And so it would be exactly the test for independence of Bulgaria. So if they are ready, this legal system, to totally separate the political and criminal part of this case. So, and we'll see it.
What is French embassy diplomatic support for you?
It was total and very serious support. The representatives of French embassy, they visited me even when I was in chamber in airport territory. They talked to me, they told that I should always feel their support. And definitely the next day, the representatives of French embassy, they participated in court just to support me by effect of presence. And I'm sure, I trust to my country, France is my country, I'm a French citizen, that they will do everything to support me.
There were some media that was writing that you want to resign Russian citizenship, and this is one of reasons because you don't want to be judged in Russian.
You see that actually when you receive a French passport, you have just to declare that if you want to keep another citizenship or if you are not allowed to have another citizenship. And when I was doing it, because I'm lawyer according to my education, that according to Russian laws, before the last month, to have two nationalities, it was simply prohibited. Even nobody surveyed it, but Russia had the conventions about double nationality only with 4 countries, and France was not in the list of those countries. It was Swiss, Turkmenistan, something like this. So Russians always close their eyes for it, but right now the double nationality is officially allowed, but you should register if you have another nationality. From my point of view, the position of any government which does not allow double nationality is totally unbiased, because what's citizenship? It's a very, very stable connection between you and between the current state. And state is not country. Right now, state in Russia, it's Putin. So if I keep Russian nationality, I should obey to Putin's order in case I'm mobilized, for example. And I'm obliged to go to fight to Ukraine if Putin, based on totally legal in Russia procedure, get permission from parliament, keep the troops, mobilize me, because definitely in Russia I'm officer of reserve, and he is allowed to send me to Ukraine to find my brothers. And I really don't want to have legal obligations to follow the orders of this guy. It's very clear. And immediately when I received French nationality, I've started this procedure by indicating that I will refuse from Russian nationality, but it takes quite a long time.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for having this conversation with you.